Thank you for tuning in to today's episode of Feel Good Fridays. Coming live straight at you from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it's your hosts, Polly and Bags.
Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Feel Good Fridays. I'm Paulie.
And I'm Bags.
And today, folks, we're going to mix things up a little bit. And as you see here before us, we have Eric Thomas's book, You Owe You. We completed, we read it over the past couple of weeks and thought that we would take one chapter from the book that we truly enjoyed and kind of give you our thoughts on it. So, Bags, let's dive right into it. What did you think of the book overall?
It was great. It was a great book, and thank you for the purchase, man. I guess that's my early Christmas present, but definitely a great book. I'm sure you hadn't had a chance. I mean, Eric's got a lot of great content out there. Truly motivational, inspirational, been all over the place.
Get you fired up to where you want to run through walls.
Yeah, no, he's legit, and that's the key thing. Is there's no faking it, and that's in the book as well. It kind of talks about his upbringing. But one chapter in particular we talked about, we just kind of highlighted together, was chapter 9. You are a business, and I think that's something, Paulie, in society. No matter what role you're in, you don't have to be a CEO or a business owner. You're a business, man, right? At the end of the day, you are a business yourself. Watching this today, I don't care what your role is, you are a business. And you got to think like that when every day you go to work, everything that you do for yourself, your family, whatever it is, you're putting that in to build your business and your own kind of personal brand to get out there. But again, it was a phenomenal chapter. And I know there were some key points we took away together as we were reviewing it together. So what's the first one, Paul, you want to talk about?
So one of the things he talks about in the chapter is surround yourself with successful people, right? Stay away from the negative folks that are in your lives if you have them there. Put yourself in situations that give you exposure to other successful people, right? He talks in there about kind of being a fly on the wall with Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cavs, and Quicken Loans and how they run their business. So he talks about just being in the room, right? Surrounding himself and his partner CJ with successful people and learning from them, right? So I think that was one of the key takeaways there, and I think everyone should think about who their crowd is that they hang around, and maybe kind of pivot, or maybe find someone who is more successful than them.
Yeah, I even think being in leadership, Paulie, I know sometimes I'll see successful people kind of vert towards those negative people or those people that aren't successful in the same role that they are. And not to say you can't be friends with those types of people, but at the end of the day, that type of behavior and attitude can reflect upon that person and it can drag you down a bit.
Guilty by association. Right?
Yeah, one of those things. So sometimes as a leader, you kind of have to pull those people aside and say, hey, sometimes you just got to be aware of your surroundings and who you hang out with. Because, again, I believe you can be very successful in what you're doing. You've proven that. But I don't want to see you being taken down the wrong path because somebody else maybe not want to be here or put forth the effort that you're putting in, take you backwards. So that is definitely a key one that we pointed out there as well. Also, another key point is you have to think like a successful person. Mm-hmm. Every single day you wake up. I think one of the challenges in society is all the negativity that's out there. Social media, for instance. I mean, there's so much negativity, especially when it comes around politics and this and that. You got to start mentally every single day and understand that you control your own fate. And you got to think like a successful person would, believing in what you're doing and believing you can be successful instead of thinking of no, I can't do it, things of that nature. I know with my kids, they say, I can't do it. And I'm like, don't talk like that. I'm like, you haven't even tried. You haven't even put in with the effort to see what you can do. So definitely thinking like a successful person was another key aspect I thought that really stood out.
Yeah, not only thinking like one, but showing that passion and being passionate about what you do day in and day out, right? So I think another key point that they made in chapter 9 was to know your worth.
Oh, yeah.
So he really talks about, how much he used to charge for, him coming to corporate offices or to teams to speak in front of the group. And he made a comment in here that was, I took whatever they paid me. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what to charge. So if they gave me $800, I got $800. They gave me $1,500, I got $1,500 to speak. So yeah, it was. He was at a conference. I can't recall the gentleman's name, but he ran into another successful motivational speaker, and he asked Eric Thomas how much you charge him. And ET told him exactly what I just said, and the guy gave him the advice of you should charge no less than $20,000. Mm-hmm. So I think that was pretty impactful, and it made him kind of step back and evaluate his talent and his skill, and to really start adding value and start asking for the $20,000, and he was getting it. So I think it was part of his transition from realizing how talented he was.
Yeah, I think what we can all take away from that is sometimes in society, I know back in the day, loyalty to a certain company, things of that nature was important. But what happens when you do that is you don't know what your real worth is. Not to say you got to leave someplace, but sometimes you got to understand what the going rate is for your knowledge, your ability, and things of that nature. So as a leader or just a person in general, it's okay to kind of take a peek, because I always say the grass isn't greener, but at the same time, you don't want to be taken advantage of for all the work and effort you put in, and you're not getting paid what others out there coming off the streets are getting paid, right? So I thought that was a really good idea that he brought up, is just, hey, you got to know what your worth is. And he sometimes even waited, like, hey, if I'm asking for $20,000 and they want to give me less, I have to ask myself, what will be worth my time, right? Even though if I take a little bit less, but will I get something out of it to build myself up further, get into another avenue? So that's another reason as well to understand what you're worth as well.
Yeah, and that's spot on, because there was a couple gigs, like the one for Quicken Loans. There was an employee that actually paid him to come. It was like $5,000, and he took it, right?
Yeah.
But that opened up the door for so many other possibilities. So again, weighing whether or not it's worth your time and money is something you got to be evaluating.
For sure.
I think another key point here is level set and be normal, right? Be yourself. Don't be someone else. If you start hanging out with other successful people, you want to learn from them, but you don't want to try to become a spitting image of them. You got to be your own version of you.
Yeah, I agree on that one. I think learn, like you said, learn from them, take what they've done and make it your own, right? So especially when you get with people, you don't want to be somebody totally different when you're in front of the room, and then you get off the side. You want to be that true natural person, like, wow, you haven't changed, right? Wow, you're just as dynamic as you were talking on stage or in front of the group as you are just having a one-on-one conversation. So just being yourself is key, because at the end of the day, that's what makes you different. If we were all the same with each other, we'd all be in the same boat and none of us would stand out. So be proud of who you are and use that to your strength, which I think comes to our final point about is finding your niche, right? Your niche, as we like to say. So by doing that, it's going to really allow you to really focus on what you can be great at, right? Not just be good, but what can you be great at? What are you great at that can make a difference as a leader, as an individual contributor to your team? So I know finding that niche, easier said than done, but if you have a special characteristic that stands out, make that shine, right? Play off that. That's who you are, and that's what your superpower is.
Spot on, man. Well, that's going to be a wrap for us today. But if you have not picked up a copy, I strongly recommend it. Ignite your power, your purpose, and your why. You owe you. Great book, great read. On to the
thumbs
next
up.
thing. Yeah, 2 thumbs up. Appreciate everyone's time for tuning in. Thank you. If you missed any of our previous podcasts, please be sure to look us up at YouTube on Feel Good Fridays podcast, or on the go at iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you catch your pods. That's all for us today, and as always, take care
and comb your hair.
Thank you for tuning in to Feel Good Fridays. If you want to stay up to date with our podcast releases and upcoming material, please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. I'll wait. You didn't do it yet. Go ahead. I'm still waiting. Did you do it? Definitely check us out on our TikTok for special announcements and possible giveaways. Both can be found by searching at Feel Good Fridays Podcast. Thank you, and make it a great day.